Good morning. Today we'll talk about the rabies and epidemiology prevention. Rabies is widely known as hydrophobia. Rabies disease is called as hydrophobia, aerophobia, and many other terminologies. So it is because of the rabid dog usually, of course, caused by other carnivores also, like bats and other wild animals. So before discussing, we will go in a systematic way. Introduction, epidemiology, causative agent, reservoir, source of agent, mode of transmission, case fatality rate, CFR, signs and symptoms, and management, prevention and control. Rabies in humans and rabies in dogs. Coming to the rabies in humans, it's also called as hydrophobia. It is an acute, highly fatal disease of the central nervous system and also peripheral nervous system. It's caused by Lissa virus type 1. It's primarily a zoonotic disease. So it's caused by animals and spread to the humans and of warm-blooded animals. Transmitted by bites or licks of rabid animals. Hydrophobia presents with a long variable incubation period, a short period of illness due to encephalomyelitis ending in death. So before death, encephalomyelitis is a serious fatal infection and involvement of the brain and also layers. It is the only communicable disease of the man that is always fatal. Almost it is 80 to 99%. So coming to some of the terms like engetic, epizootic, because rabies is also engetic and epizootic. It is an equivalent term for the human endemic. So it is in the animals, constantly present in animal population, but usually only affects a small number of animals at any one time. But it occurs at a frequency expected in a given time period. Frequency expected in a given time period. Coming to the epizootic, it is restricted to a specific locale, an outbreak, general, and epizootic or widespread panzootic. So outbreak, epizootic, panzootic. So these are the terms, and especially it is a disease event in a non-human animal analogous to an epidemic in human population. Coming to the problem statement, is a geographic distribution is there, engetic, epizootic, worldwide. Some countries are rabies free by vigorous campaign elimination. Some other countries are not affected. Natural barrier for rabies is water. So if the water is there, rabies is free of rabies will be free of disease in the countries, especially Australia, Iceland, UK, New Zealand, Taiwan, Cyprus, and Japan. India also, islands of Lakshadweep and Andaman Nicobar Islands, because waterlogged is an island, is also free of disease, rabies disease. Rabies-free disease is one in which no case of indigenously acquired rabies has occurred in man or any animal species for 2 years. So minimum of a 2-year period should be there to declare a rabies-free disease. Then what is the epidemiological factor? So factors are many. Natural reservoirs like bats and carnivorous animals, dogs 99% for human infection, and 3.3 million people worldwide are at risk, and 150 countries are involved. Human deaths are grossly underreported. So after a bite of a dog, any death occurs, usually the reports are underreported. Estimated 55,000 deaths occur in rural areas of Africa and Asia each year. In India, 22,000 deaths per year in the rural population at a rate of 2 lakh population are at risk. So presently 2 lakh population are at risk. In Africa, 4 lakhs at risk and 24,000 per year. Common age group is less than 15 years, especially 2 to 15 years. 40% of post-exposure immunization given to children aged 5 to 14 years. So this is the age group in which mostly the dog bites occur. So that's why post-exposure immunization will be given to the children of 5 to 14 years. Global level, 15 million immunization given to children aged 5 to 14 years are receiving global level. 15 million people are receiving rabies prophylaxis annually. So they are giving 15 million people prophylactically to avoid the rabies per year. In absence of prophylaxis, 3,27,000 persons die from rabies. So coming to the epidemiological determinants are the agent factors, host factors, mode of transmission, incubation period, pathogenesis. Agent factors. So agent is the virus, is a causative agent. Bullet shape, neurotropic RNA containing virus is Lissa virus type 1. It belongs to family Rhabdoviridae type 1 or Lissa virus type 1. And serotypes are there 2, 3 and 4 are rabies related, but antigenically they are distinct. So there is no value of vaccine to these groups. Rabies virus particle contain 2 major antigens. One is glycoprotein antigen, another is nucleoprotein antigen. Glycoprotein antigen from viral membrane, nucleoprotein antigen from nucleus. So this viral membrane antigen induces the formation of virus neutralizing antibody. Presence of it in the blood is an index of protection against rabies. So if there is presence of virus neutralizing antibody, that indicates it is a good protection against rabies. Rabies virus surface glycoprotein is cloned and expressed in Escherichia coli to develop genetically engineered rabies vaccine. So this glycoprotein very useful if it is transferred to E. coli to develop the rabies vaccine. Then internal nucleoprotein antigen. So the agent factors continuing, the virus is expressed in the saliva of animals. So ultimately that should come to the saliva of the animal so that it spreads by the bite of animal to the other living beings or humans. The virus recovered from naturally occurring cases of rabies is called street virus or street rabies. So the virus recovered from naturally occurring cases of rabies is called a street virus. It is pathogenic to mammals. The incubation is 20 to 60 days. Serial brain-to-brain passage of street virus in rabbits modifies to reduce and constant at 4 to 6 days incubation period. So the incubation period to reduce from 20 to 60 days to 4 to 6 days, it should be by serial brain-to-brain passage of street virus, especially the rabbits. Virus isolated at this stage is called fixed virus. So street virus becomes fixed virus. Street virus has 20 to 60 days incubation period. Fixed virus has 4 to 6 days incubation period. And especially this fixed virus is useful for the preparation of vaccine. A fixed strain of virus may be defined as one that has a short, fixed, and reproducible incubation period, that is with 4 to 6 days. When injected intracerebrally into suitable animals, it does not form Negri bodies. So naturally, street that will have Negri bodies, whereas fixed virus Negri bodies may not be formed. It no longer multiplies in extraneural tissues. That is the use because the street virus multiplies in the extraneural tissues also, whereas this fixed strain won't multiply in the extraneural tissues like saliva and other glands. Parenteral injection of anti-rabies vaccine is inadequately inactivated fixed that causes rabies. Host factors susceptible or warm-blooded animals and man. Rabies in man is dead-end infection. Once it occurs in man, the rabies virus will die with the man itself. There is no other transmission unless he was provoked by biting others. Major group of victims are from 1 to 24-year age group. In India, the age group is 1 to 24 victims, age group of victims. And high-risk group persons are lab staff working with virus, veterinarians, dog handlers, hunters, field naturalists. So coming to the modes of transmission, it is infected by a deep bite or scratch by an infected animal. Dogs are main host and transmitted to the man. Saliva is infectious when direct contact with human mucosa and open skin wound. Dogs are the source of infection and for rabies deaths annually in Asia and Africa. Bats are the source of the most human deaths. Australia and also Australia, European Union and Africa. Infected human bite and infected meat also. Inhaled aerosol virus nearby and transplanted infected organ also may cause. Incubation period. Usually the incubation period is 1 to 3 months, that is 30 days to 90 days following exposure. From 7 days to many years. This range also too much. 7 days to many years. It may not manifest itself immediately. Incubation period depends on factors. This communicable disease is highly variable incubation period. Site of the bite, like face, head, neck, and upper extremities by wild animals. So there is one factor, site of the bite, then severity of the bite, then number of wounds, then species of the biting carnivore, amount of virus injected, protection provided by the clothing, treatment undertaken. What is the pathogenesis? Rabies virus replicates, it improves, it multiplies in muscle or connective tissue cells at or near the site of introduction before it attaches to nerve endings and enters peripheral nerves. So before entering attaches to nerve endings and entering peripheral nerves, it replicates, it multiplies in muscle or connective tissue cells. Centripetal via peripheral to CNS, it is centripetal. So that means it is from down to upwards, peripheral to CNS, centripetal, spread of infection from the site of infection. Then virus spreads centrifugally in peripheral nerves. So from periphery to CNS, it is centripetal. In peripheral nerves itself, it is centrifugal spread like many tissues, adrenal gland, skeletal muscle, myocardial muscle, and skin. Salivary gland invasion is crucial for the transmission of the virus to another animal or human. Coming to the clinical picture of the rabies in humans, it has some prodromal symptoms. This is called as hydrophobia prodromal symptoms with clinical picture. So the symptoms are headache, malaise, sore throat, with slight fever lasting for 3 to 4 days, pain and tingling at the site of the bite, and widespread excitation, stimulation of all parts of nervous system in order, sensory, motor, sympathetic, mental system. So beginning from the sensory, then motor, then sympathetic and mental system. Then the patient is intolerant to noise, bright light, or cold draught of air. This is the sensory. Aerophobia also will be there. Air and also hydrophobia, water and air. Aerophobia causes that is the fanning effect to excite the muscles and very painful spasms. Free of air, fear of air, but that's called as aerophobia. It causes violent spasms of muscles like pharyngeal, neck muscles by fanning on face. That is aerophobia. Then motor, pathognomonic, and increases reflexes and muscle spasms and perspiration. So it's a motor component also there, like sensory component. Coming to the sympathetic component, pupillary dilatation, salivation, lacrimation. Then coming to the mental changes or psychological or maybe sometimes psychiatric problems, fear of death, anger, irritability, depression. These are all mental changes. And swallowing liquids, unsuccessful because of the sound of water and sound, the spasm, deglutition muscle attack. Because we cannot swallow because of the deglutition muscle will be in spasm. So it won't allow down to the throat. So that's why hydrophobia, that's called as swallowing of liquids is unsuccessful. Diagnosis, history of bite by a rabid animal with signs and symptoms. By using, so you can diagnose when the rabid animal bite is there and signs and symptoms are there, then you can use the antigen detection by immunofluorescence of skin biopsy. That too in early course of illness, you can diagnose it. And also virus isolation from saliva. Then after 8th day, neutralizing antibodies detectable in serum and cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. Treatment. No specific treatment for rabies. Case management includes isolated in a room, no bright light, no cold draughts, no sound, so that it avoids spasms or convulsions. Sedatives for pain and anxiety. So to reduce the pain and anxiety, sedatives like morphine, 30 to 40 mg will be given. And curare, like drugs for spastic muscular contractions. Very painful, spastic muscular contractions. To relieve the spasms of the muscle, curare, it will paralyze. Paralysis will occur, not paralyze. If in appropriate doses, it causes paralysis, contractions will be reduced. Hydration and diuresis. So a lot of IV fluid should be given. At the same time, diuresis also should be there. ICU, respiratory and cardiac support. Intensive care unit, respiratory, cardiac support. Infectious body fluids, avoid saliva, vomitus, serum, urine and other fluids. PPE, personal protective equipment with the staff and nursing. They should be without open wounds and cuts and bruises. They should not be allowed in the care of the patient. So they may be affected, that's why. And they should use masks, gloves, goggles, aprons for protection. And all the other staff in nursing. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, where human cases of rabies are encountered. Suppose if there are risk of rabies by rabid biter, maybe dog or bat or any other animal. So pre-exposure needed. Prevention of human rabies under 3 heads. One is pre-exposure prophylaxis, another is post-exposure prophylaxis, another post-exposure treatment of persons who have been vaccinated previously. So that means vaccinated post-exposure treatment of persons, only post-exposure prophylaxis, only pre-exposure prophylaxis. Suppose pre-exposure prophylaxis should be given if there is no exposure is there in the animal, like domestic dog or cat, it is free of rabies by lab or for 10 days healthy. So for a period of 10 days, the animal is healthy, it is declared normal. But pre-exposure, if there are risk of rabies, then pre-exposure should be given. Prevention of human rabies, post-exposure prophylaxis. So post-exposure prophylaxis, general consideration, local treatment of wound, immunization, cell culture vaccine. So for in the immunization, cell culture vaccine, CCV purified, in human diploid cells, HDCV, and also embryonated fibroblast cells, EFC, and fetal rhesus diploid cells, FRDC, and vero cells, usually the kidney cells from African green monkey. So DCVC means fetal rhesus diploid vero cells. Embryonated egg-based vaccine, safe and effective. Usually, cell culture vaccine and embryonated duck egg vaccine is safe and also low cost, whereas HDC is high cost. Human diploid cell vaccine is costly. Safe and effective vaccines based on safe and effective vaccines based on chick embryo cells and vero cells. Vero cells usually kidney cells, chick embryo cells. Apart from human diploid cell vaccines. So these three are preferred, but in Indian government, Rabipur is prescribed. Shelf life of vaccines is 3 years, and it's stored at -2 degrees centigrade to +8 degrees centigrade. Used immediately after reconstitution of vaccine. After preparation of vaccine, it should be the temperature should be at the required, like -2 to +8, it should be maintained. And also sterile diluents should be used. Coming to the dose of the vaccine, 0.5 ml intramuscularly. Potency should be more than or equal to 2.5 international units per single intramuscular dose. And CCV, cell cultured embryonated egg vaccine, is potency as per WHO guidelines, World Health Organization guidelines. Coming to the immunization of post-exposure guidelines. Battery download. Purified cell culture vaccine are safe and effective embryonated egg-based vaccine for pre and post-exposure prophylaxis. So both pre and post-exposure prophylaxis, both CCV and EEV are useful. And the CCV and the EEVs, cell culture and immunization-based vaccine consist of rabies virus that has been propagated in cell substrates. So both will be propagated, that will be cultured in cell substrates such as HBC, human diploid cells, and EEC, embryonated fibroblast cells, UFC, and fetal rhesus diploid cells, FRDC, and vero cells, kidney cells. So these are all will be useful for the CC and FEVs. Primary chick embryo cells, PCEC, are in EDE, embryonated duck egg. No thiomersal, no preservative is necessary. Preservative is not necessary, as pre-qualified by World Health Organization. Is already qualified, the vaccine. It has undergone all the experiments or phases of use, and also is testified. And CCEEV, potency of or equal to or more than 2.5 international units per intramuscular dose, and as 0.5 ml or 1 ml dose. There are some categories are there, post-exposure prophylaxis, and guidelines are given here, category 1, category 2, and category 3. And what type of post-exposure prophylaxis should be given as per the category. Category 1 is touching or feeding animals, licks on contact skin. It's not necessary. Any post-exposure prophylaxis is necessary. So no post-exposure prophylaxis in category 1. Category 2, nibbling of uncovered skin, minor scratches, abrasions without bleeding. Vaccine and local treatment of the wound is sufficient. So without immunoglobulin, category 2, you can give vaccine and also treat the wound locally. And category 3, single or multiple transdermal bites or scratches, licks on broken skin, contamination of mucous membrane with saliva from licks, contact with bags. So whenever this mucous membrane is involved, immediate vaccination and also immunoglobulin and also local treatment of wound. So vaccine and also immunoglobulin treat the wound in the category 3. Category 1 none, and category 2 without immunoglobulin, only vaccine and local treatment. Category 3 both immunoglobulin and also vaccination and local treatment of the wound. Then this post-exposure prophylaxis, what categories of animals are other living beings are required? The biting animal, a known rabid reservoir of vector species, for that post-exposure prophylaxis should be given. Unvaccinated, sick and abnormal behavior and with unprovoked bite, of these also post-exposure prophylaxis should be given. Biting animal is not traced or identified. When there is no tracing out of the biting animal, the individual should be given post-exposure prophylaxis. These are the main criteria for giving the post-exposure prophylaxis to an individual. So just slight difference is there, like a reservoir and the source of infection. What is the reservoir? Population of organisms or specific environment in which an infectious pathogen naturally lives, reproduces, or upon which the pathogen primarily depends on its survival. So natural living, natural reproduction, and survival for dependence is the reservoir. Coming to the source of infection, origin from which a host requires the infection. So source of infection means where the infection coming from to the host. So there are two types. One is endogenous, another is exogenous. Endogenous is person's own commensal microbial flora. Or exogenous, an individual or animal or object that in the external environment of the host. Coming to the vaccination in detail, there are two categories. One is intramuscular and another is intradermal. Intramuscular, 1 ml, 2.5 ml deltoid muscle or anterolateral thigh in children less than 2 years. For everyone with deltoid, but less than 2 years is of children, anterolateral thigh is okay. Then categories 1 and 2, 3 also, there is a IM vaccination, intramuscular vaccination. Recommended dose, 5 dose or 4 dose schedules are there. Coming to the SN regimen, total 5 doses. JAREB regimen, total 4 doses. And SN regimen, 1 dose on each day of 0, 3, 7, 14, and 20 days. So that comes to 5 doses, 5 days. And rabies immunoglobulin also can be given along with the vaccination. And there are 5 vials, and that's the immunoglobulin should be given at the first day, 0 dose. But other 5 will be given as vaccination. So 0, both vaccine and immunoglobulin will be given. This 5 vials and 5 visits of vaccines, like each 1 day, total 5 doses, plus 1 first day immunoglobulin. Coming to JAREB regimen, total 4 doses, abbreviated multi-site regimen, 2 doses on day 0, 1 on each of the 2 deltoid or thigh sites. So 2 doses on 0 day. And followed 1 dose on each day of the deltoid or thigh sites. So that means 0 day, 7th day, 21st day. Total 3 days. First day, 0 day, 2 doses, either 2 deltoid or 2 thigh sites. So either deltoid you can choose, or you can choose thigh sites also you can choose. So 2 doses. Then there is a 0 day. Second day, 7th day. Third day, 21st day. So total 3 days is 3 doses, 3 days, and first day 2 doses, another 2 days, each 1 day, 1 dose. That means total 4 days, 4 doses, 4 vials. So on 0 day X2, that means 2 deltoid or 2 thiazides. On 7th day X1, only either deltoid or thigh. 21st also X1, that means either an anterolateral thigh or deltoid. So this is the 0x2 and 7x1, 21x1. So one is day and another is site. Day is 0721, site is X2, X1 and X1. 3 visits, 4 doses along with immunoglobulin plus immunoglobulin. So immunoglobulin always will be given in these cases, especially at the time of first day. Then later only vaccines. Along with the first day immunoglobulin along with vaccine, afterwards only vaccines will be given. Alternative for healthy, fully competent exposed people who receive wound care plus World Health Organization pre-qualified rabies vaccine. That is the post-exposure regimen. So there are 3 regimens. One is SN, JAREP and alternative. So this the last one is Monday on day 0, 3, 7 and 14, 4 doses. Anti-rabies vaccine will be given. IM 2-site regimen, total 4 doses. So there are 4 days and 4 doses. Immunoglobulin plus wound care plus vaccine plus vaccine will be by IM. So immunoglobulin on the first day along with the vaccine, then later only immunoglobulin. Later only vaccines. Then coming to the intradermal, 2-site intradermal administration of 3-day, 0, 3 and 28. Post-exposure prophylaxis, 2 sites. That means 0, 3, 7 and 28th day, 4 days. And 0 is there here, 14th day is missing. So that is 0, 14th day. So other 0, 3, 7 and 28th day, 2 doses, 2 doses, 2 doses, 2 doses. That means 0 on 0 day 2, on 3rd day 2, on 7th day 2, on 28th day 2, the 14th day is missing. So total 2 plus 6 plus 0, 6. 8 plus 0 is 8. Injection of 0.1 ml at 2 sites, deltoid or thigh, on days 0, 3, 7 and 20th day for category 2 and 3 exposure, because 4 days. And 1/5 of IM dose is equal to intradermal route. Intradermally, you have to reduce to 1/5, but intramuscularly you can give total 1, like that. So 1/5 of the IM dose is intradermal. Less than 2 vials and 4 visits along with immunoglobulin. And day is 0, 3, 7 and 28. 14 days missing. So total 4 doses. And also total 4 days. But site is X2, X2, X2 and X2. That means both anterolateral or deltoid. That's why it's a double, 8 doses. Coming to the post-exposure prophylaxis for previously vaccinated. So the number 1 is post-exposure prophylaxis without vaccination, previous vaccination, now with previous vaccination. For rabies exposed patients who can document previous complete prophylaxis vaccination or complete post-exposure prophylaxis with a cell culture immunity egg-based vaccine, CCEV, intramuscular, 1 dose, and 1 dose of CCEV cell culture vaccine intradermally on day 0 and 3. No rabies immunoglobulin. So rabies immunoglobulin should not be given in this case when there is a history of cell culture embryonated egg-based vaccine intramuscularly is given, or 1 dose of cell culture vaccine intradermally on day 0 and 3 are given. Then rabies immunoglobulin is not necessary. The 1-site 2-day intradermal or IM regimen to people vaccinated against rabies who had demonstrated rabies virus neutralizing antibody titer of more than or is equal to 5 international units per ml. So for them it's not necessary. But alternative is single visit 4-site intradermal regimen of 4 injections of 0.1 ml left or right deltoid at thigh vaccination course. Along with vaccination course, vaccination will be given. Post-exposure prophylaxis for previously vaccinated individuals, those who are immunocompromised. So, immunocompromised people needing post-exposure prophylaxis for previously vaccination individuals. So, they have the previous vaccination is there, but they're having immunocompromisation there. For them, post-exposure prophylaxis is needed. So, the patients usually immunocompromised are HIV/AIDS or other categories also. A complete set of 5 doses of intramuscular, like CCEEV plus comprehensive wound management plus local infiltration plus human rabies immunoglobulin for category 2 and 3 exposures. After 2 to 4 weeks following vaccination for rabies virus neutralizing antibody, determination for additional dose. So, is there any rabies virus neutralizing antibodies there or not? Additional dose also can be given. Coming to the passive immunization, rabies for passive immunization. After initiation of post-exposure vaccination, rabies immunization, immunoglobulin for passive immunization. So already post-exposure vaccination is initiated for the passive immunization. Beyond the 7th day, after the first dose, rabies immunoglobulin not indicated. Suppose after first dose of the rabies vaccine, rabies immunoglobulin is not present because there is no active antibody to the CCEBV is presumed to have occurred. If immunoglobulin is to be given, give IM away from the vaccination site. So wherever the vaccination is given, don't give on that area. Away from that area, immunoglobulin should be given. The dose is rabies immunoglobulin is 20 international units per kg for equine immunoglobulin, and also FAB product, it is 40 international per kg IM. Give at the site of wound and the remaining immunoglobulin away from the wound site. So at the site of wound, you have to do half or something like that. The remaining immunoglobulin away from the wound site. Most of the immunoglobulin is cheaper. The equine immunoglobulin is cheaper than the human immunoglobulin. But it has anaphylactic shock component is also there. Even it is cheaper than the human immunoglobulin, some side effect may be there. Then guide for post-exposure prophylaxis. 3 heads are there: general, local, immunization. General consultation, local treatment of wound, immunization. General consultation, person suspected a rabid animal bite need anti-rabies treatment. To neutralize the inoculated virus before it can enter the nervous system. Rabid bite as a medical emergency for human exposure treat with the following: single dose of rabies immunoglobulin person plus course of vaccines, local treatment of wound irrespective of type of wound, then guide for post-exposure prophylaxis, local treatment to remove the virus within minutes of after exposure, local wound treatment, measures for local treatment. So to remove the virus as much as possible from the site of inoculation before it can absorb onto the nerve endings. So immediately local treatment should be done so that it won't enter into the nerves. Within minutes after exposure, and reduces the rabies by 80% if the local wound treatment is there. Otherwise, 80% higher chances of infection may be there. Measures for local treatment. So what are the measures for local treatment? One is cleansing, chemical treatment, and suturing to be done after 1 or 2 days. Then antibiotics and antitetanus measures done after the above. So cleansing, flushing and washing scratches to be cleaned with soap and water for 15 minutes. So 15 minutes with soap and water should be cleaned. And for punctured wound, use catheters so that any secretions that will dribble out from the wound to the outside. For irrigation and risk of contracting rabies is minimized to others. Chemical treatment by virucidal agents like ether alcohol 400 700 ml, 400 to 700 ml per liter of water, or tincture of 0.01% aqueous solution of iodine. So either tincture or 0.01% of aqueous solution of iodine or povidone iodine. So these are the chemical treatments used. Suturing to be done after 24 to 48 hours later of exposure with minimum possible stitches under cover of local rabies immunoglobulin. So after giving the local rabies immunoglobulin and minimum stitches, and after 1 or 2 days of exposure, that's suturing to be done. Antibiotics and anti-tetanus measures done after the above. So some antibiotics also should be given, anti-tetanus also. Coming to the pre-exposure prophylaxis, what are the guidelines? For pre-exposure prophylaxis, by modern cell-derived vaccine is recommended for anyone. Modern cell-derived vaccine. As per residents or occupation, travelers, children in rural areas, who is at risk of exposure to rabies virus, they will be given the pre-exposure prophylaxis. The schedule is intramuscular 1 ml or 0.5 ml, one site on each day, or intradermal 0.1 ml per site, one site in each day, given on days 0, 7, 21, and 28. 4 doses, all open vials within 6 to 8 hours it should be used. Beyond 6 to 8 hours, that should not be used, and also to maintain the cold minimum temperatures. Then no booster doses required when in the pre-exposure prophylaxis, traveling to high-risk areas. So booster doses is not required, travel only. Who received the primary series of pre-exposure and post-exposure prophylaxis with HCCV, they are also not required booster doses. And periodic booster dose injection only for specific occupation. But of course, if it is necessary, only for specific occupations because they will be exposed repeatedly. Antibody monitoring is preferred to routine boosters. Antibody testing is for every 6 months. So monitoring of antibodies is better than boosters. Serological monitoring every 2 years for lab professionals and veterinarians. If it is by giving rabies vaccine, induced immunity process for years. So by giving rabies vaccine, the immunity is long lasting. A booster dose for those with rabies virus neutralizing antibody titer fall to less than 0.5 international units per ml. So if the neutralizing antibody of rabies virus is less than 0.5 international units per ml, a booster dose should be given. Then adverse events following immunization, AEF5. What are the adverse events? Vaccine, but of all the vaccines, cell-cultured embryonated egg vaccine is safe and tolerated. But usually the side effects are minimal with 30 to 40% of vaccines. Transgenital edema, pain, swelling at the site of injection after intradermal of a booster. 5 to 15% of persons with fever, headache, dizziness, GIT symptoms. So 50% only, 15% only with mild to or moderate to less severe. But whereas very mild, 45% reactions. Contraindications and precautions. What are the contraindications to the immunization? For pre-exposure and for post-exposure. For pre-exposure prophylaxis, previous severe reactions to any components of vaccine, any severe reactions to any components of vaccine is a contraindication. Coming to the post-exposure, following high-risk exposure, not contraindicated. And also for POAP, immunocompromised infant, children with HIV, AIDS, and pregnant women. So, for following high-risk exposure, it is not contraindicated, post-exposure. Like HIV, AIDS, pregnant, and immunocompromised. For malaria treatment and prophylaxis, reduced response to intradermal rabies virus. better give vaccine by intramuscular. But before, if you have any thought of malaria disease, treat the malaria first, immediately along with the rabies treatment. Nervous tissue vaccines. Crude products cause severe fatal reactions with low potency administered to expose it in large numbers doses. To limit or abandon the NTV production, Government of India stopped in 2004 year to replace them by safer and effective inactivated cell culture vaccine. So now there is no production of the nervous tissue vaccine, only the Rabipur, that is the inactivated cell culture vaccine or immunized egg culture vaccine. Rabies in dogs. So already we discussed about the rabies in humans. Rabies in dogs, 90% of the human rabies is by dog bites, and rabid dogs controlled by avoiding bites. Incubation period is 3 to 8 weeks, 10 days to 1 year. So it's too much long for the rabies in dogs. Manifestations in two forms. One is clinical picture, furious rabies and dumb rabies. Furious rabies and dumb rabies. Then laboratory diagnosis, fluorescent antibody test, microscopic examination, and mouse inoculation test, corneal test. So the laboratory diagnosis by fluorescent antibody FAT test, microscopic examination, mouse inoculation test, MIT, and corneal test, and immunization of dogs. Coming to the furious rabies, that is called as mad dog syndrome, like mad hat syndrome. You know mad hat syndrome is caused by mercury poisoning in the waters of the contaminated waters of the sea, in which the fish are contaminated by mercury. By eating this, some of the Japanese who eat this, they got this mad hat syndrome by mercury. But here is the mad dog syndrome, furious rabies. Characteristics of the furious rabies. Number one is a change in behavior. Two, running amok. Change in voice. Excessive salivation. Paralysis states. So these are the characteristic features of the furious rabies. The cardinal sign is the change in behavior, bites without provocation, and also unusual objects and the wander aimlessly. Running amok, bites straw, mud, and sticks. Change in voice, laryngeal muscle paralysis. It cannot bark, but only hoarse voice is there. Excessive salivation, foaming at the mouth, paralytic states, coma, and death. Dumb rabies, no exciting or irritating, predominantly paralytic, silent, then into sleeplessness, dies within 3 days. So then one is furious, this is the dumb. Laboratory diagnosis, decapitated head of rabid in ice, then 50% of glycerol saline for examination. So 50% of glycerol saline for examination. To virus isolation by animal inoculation. So to isolate the virus by 50% glycerol saline for examination by animal inoculation. Fact, fluorescent antibody test for rabies viral antigen. Another is if the brain is by FRA negative, there is a fluorescent rabies antibody, and the rabies and fluorescent antibody test. One is antibody test, another is viral antigen test. Then saliva contains no virus, no treatment for the bitten person. To differentiate rabies and vaccine reaction, fluorescent antibody test in clinical rabies by fluorescent antibody titers are in 10,000. Microscopic examination of brain for Negri bodies for rapid diagnosis of rabies, 75 to 90% of cases of rabies in dogs. Mouse inoculation test, intracerebral mouse sucking mice for virus isolation. And microscopic examination, 10% of the emission of the suspected brain tissue in normal saline in centrifuge at 2000 rpm for 5 minutes and 0.03 ml per supernatant fluid injected intracerebrally using tuberculin syringe into at least 4 mice. If they show signs of rabies between 6 to 8 days, if they are infected, identification of virus by the Fourier test reveals of Negri bodies. Corneal test is also a positive test, indicates the presence of rabies, that is a Fourier test. But negative test does not rule out immunization of dogs, beta prophylactic, antivenin nervous tissue vaccine, 20% suspension of infected sheep brain, 5 ml and 3 ml. 80 to 90% accessible and also mass vaccination of all dogs next 6 months and yearly. Primary immunization dose at 3 to 4 months and booster dose regularly. Immunization dogs are BV inactivated and TB and modified live virus vaccine and also chicken virus suspension every 3 years. Adult brain virus to be replaced with cell culture vaccine for animals. Control of urban rabies, local and most effective, is elimination of stray and also registration and licensing, restraint of dogs and immediate destruction of dogs, quarantine for 6 months of imported dogs, and health education, and also modified live virus vaccine. Control of urban rabies, local, logical, and most effective, ownerless dogs and mass immunization of stray. Other methods of registration and licensing. And oral vaccines, attempted live rabies vaccine, and rabies prophylaxis of wildlife, are placed in baits distributed for the foxes habitat by oral vaccine baits, elimination rabies in Switzerland. Thank you. Any doubts that can be discussed? Now, I think our HOD will talk to you. Just please continue this stay. He will announce some of the important points too regarding lectures and examination.
Hello, my dear students, can you hear me what I am showing? There is a word file showing there, and your examinations for second internal session have been announced now, and the ENT will be on 22nd September, ophthalmology will be on 24th September, community medicine will be on 26th September. So there will be 1 day gap in between each of the examinations. ENT will be conducted from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's 2 hours. Similarly, ophthalmology will be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. But community medicine, because it is 60 marks question paper, it is 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. That is 3 hours. Please follow the general instructions for all the 3 subjects. The examination will be conducted online as was done for first internal examination. All students should log in 15 minutes before scheduled time of examination. And the question paper will be displayed online 15 minutes before, and students should copy the question paper as the display will be stopped after 15 minutes. Taking mobile snaps of the question paper is not permitted. The students will be monitored online during examination time, and so they should be visible throughout the examination time. Unauthorized absence will be considered seriously. The mobile should be adjusted during the examination time in such a way that the answer papers as well as the students should be seen. Only A4 size and the white sheets should be used for answering. Student should write his or her name and university number on each answer sheet. If your answer sheet has got answer paper has got 4 or 5 or 10 sheets, each sheet you should write your name and the university number. Don't forget this. After completing the examination, students should scan all the answer sheets in serial order. Convert the scanned copies into PDF format. No other format is permitted because in the past some people have sent the images, GIF files and all this. These are not permitted. You can only send only PDF forms. All PDF files should be given file name as the university number of the student, and if the sections are there, the section should be mentioned. All PDF files should be sent by Google form provided online within 15 minutes after the completion of the examination. Late submission is not allowed unless permitted by other department due to valid reasons. The syllabus for each subject will be communicated by the concerned department separately. For any further clarifications, examination procedure and the student should consult the expert of the specific department. If you have any problems about my department, you can clarify the point with me. Sir, now I am trying to give you the specific instruction for the Department of Community Medicine. These are the list of topics: principles of general epidemiology, epidemiology of infectious diseases, epidemiology of communicable diseases, and portion covered till 19th September. Please note this. Till 19th September, whatever that is covered will be part of the syllabus of the examination. Epidemiology of non-communicable diseases, and again here the portions covered till 2020. And national health programs, whatever that is covered, disaster management, hospital waste management application. These are the topics which will be covered under the second internal examination. Hope it's very clear to you. Now, as far as our department is concerned, I am trying to give you some basic instruction for the department. The maximum time allotted is 3 hours and maximum marks is 60. There will be 12 questions consisting of 2 essay type questions carrying 10 marks each and 10 short answer questions each carrying 4 marks. So total comes to 60. There will be 4 sections and each section should be answered separately. Section A contains question number 1 and 2. Section B contains question number 3, 4, 5 and 6. Section C contains question number 7, 8 and 9. Section D contains question number 10, 11, and 12. Okay, all these 4 sections will be separately answered. The PDF file name should be the section name, giving the section name followed by your university number.
Scrolling.
అలాగే ఒకసారి కనుక్కో వాళ్ళకి తెలుస్తుందా లేదా
వెళ్తుంది సార్ అడిగాను స్క్రోల్ ఇక్కడ కొంచెం స్క్రోల్
So there will be 4 sections. Each section should be answered separately. Section A contains question 1 and 2. Section B contains 3, 4, 5, and 6. Section C contains questions 7, 8, 9. Section D contains 10, 11, and 12. The PDF file name should be section name followed by your university number. For example, your university number is 1780701 and you are giving the file name for section A, then the file name is A followed by your university number. So these are the things you have to strictly follow, otherwise it will be difficult for us to evaluate your answer papers. Hope you have understood well, and the soft copies will be sent on WhatsApp to you, and you can read the WhatsApp messages also. So this is for your information and effective conduction of the examination. Hope all the best and start preparing for the examination from now onwards. Thank you.
మీరు చేయాలంటే మరి మనమే తెలియదు సార్ సార్తో మాట్లాడి తెలిస్తే మాట్లాడుతున్నాను నాకే అంతే కదా